to another episode of the Anata Pod. I'm Gabe, and as always, I'm joined by Anata CEO David. David, welcome back.
Thanks, man. Obviously, I want to be here for life. So,
Right, of course. Well, cool. You're sharing your screen. Obviously, you have something pretty cool to show us before we get into kind of like the deeper part of today's episode. Well, I think all this ties in together, but what do you got going on? What's going on with the Anata website?
well, we've been working on a bunch of tools, obviously, with Anata Intelligence, and without forcing people to experience it by signing up, we pooled some of those tools onto our website. So anybody and everybody who has access to it. They get a little bit of a taste of what that does for you, what it's all about. And then we kind of just want to walk through it. And maybe what we do is we go through a segment once a week where we grab a great brand, a small brand, a new brand on Amazon, and we roll through the entire process of what we think of it, how we think it's performing, and kind of give you a little taste of it once a week. Kind of just give it a review, things we can implement as smaller brands, things we could do as larger brands, and dive a little bit deeper into like why we built Anata Intelligence and why we think it's so important for the success of all of our brands and for others out there. So I say we just jump into it. That's okay with
Yeah,
you.
let's do it. Let's do it.
Cool. So yeah, so the first thing here is this is right on our homepage. You can't miss it. Plug in anything. You could do your website. You could do an ASIN. You could just do a URL of your ASIN. It'll pull just as much information as possible so that it could scrub through and actually understand the situation a little bit more. So let's do it live. Potentially run into some bugs, which is good, but we're going to fix them and learn from them. So I'm thinking we start off with the brand that has blown my mind for all year long. And it's made me in my words, which is Groons. So
Nice.
I said we go through Groons and we run through what they're doing well and how we can take from them and implement it into our own store. So we'll review their PDP, their product detail page, and then grab the ASIN and bring it over to the Anata website and then scrub through that a little bit too. So
Yeah, let's see how it works.
Gabe, I'm gonna hand it off to you. We're above the fold. This is what everyone sees the first time on desktop. What does Groons do well here?
Oh man, I mean, their hero image looks big, bright. It definitely catches the eye for sure. Um, it's a 10 pack. Let's see, Dole Green gummies. I mean, title looks pretty good. They're the number one seller for a reason. It says number one bestseller there.
Yeah.
Um,
The first thing you said was actually really important because I think so too. It's big. So if
yes.
we click into this a little bit more, what you'll see is if we take this little tiny image over here, which is the square image that we all have to upload, there is almost no more room for just white space, right? White space is
Right.
almost full. And they do a great job at filling that entire image up with the product, right? And so what you called
Yes.
out is it's big. It takes up. So imagine this item in search. Let's just get out of here real quick and we'll go to what this looks like in search. A lot of their competitors do a good job at this too, but like this is their kids product. It like pulls all of the white
Yeah.
space out. Bare Balance does a pretty good job too. 365 does as well. I just put gummies in here. Goalie, people with bottles usually struggle with this because it's just a bottle, so you kind of have to pull something else in. But I
Mhm.
think that they do it the best, and their packaging allows for it. So,
Right.
like
Yeah.
first thing,
Exactly.
they are pulling in the clicks, right? Obviously, they have a great brand, so that's a good call out. Here's one thing I'd like to call out. How many characters do you think this is?
Definitely has to be more than 75. It looks like
It
for
has to
sure.
be more than
It has
75.
to be more.
We've been getting blown up about this right now, and we're doing our best to get all of the products there. When will this actually impact the listings? I mean, Amazon
Yeah.
said last month they're going to start requiring it. And honestly, that's such a big change, even though it doesn't seem like it, that they're
Right.
not
Yeah.
going to be missing out on this if you don't do it. Now, please prioritize it. Don't say, oh, well, they don't care about it. No, we do. But
Yes.
recognize that it's not the biggest like change that's going to happen, and it is need to prioritize, and they're going to give sellers a chance to make sure that this is implemented in a reasonable time, I would say.
Yeah.
Business discount, because obviously we're on the business one. That's a good one. And then I like how they show the bag, what's in the bag, and then
But
there's
yeah.
even a little call out on there too. You kind of have to be zoomed in for it, but sugar free is on there as well. Same
Right.
here. Get the little gummies, you get the fruits and vegetables. That's their main thing. So yeah, I think they
Can you
did a
scroll
good
down
job
too? I
there.
want to see like brand story and A plus.
Yeah, let's go. It's crazy how much they cover,
Yeah, that
the
is crazy.
competitors. Now, this
Right.
isn't them, it's a competitor, but how many people are just trying to just
Right.
pull away from
Dang.
them, accidentally buy it just because they can offer it potentially at a $10 discount?
Yes. Yeah.
And another cool thing is they are really taking advantage of the creator connections,
Yep.
maximizing the amount of videos here.
That's cool. I like that.
And then here's the premium A plus content. I love this for mobile. Real big, nothing too small.
Yeah.
This is probably the smallest that you'll see, text wise.
I
Vibrant
like it.
colors. Yeah, it really pops out there. Again, like your mobile wise, that's got to be there. They're implementing a bunch of these other components, these modules as well. People underestimate the size, man. Every designer is building this on a desktop, but they just give it to the people who are going to upload it, and they don't recognize that this size is key. I like how they do this little um, module thing
Yeah.
the scroll bar.
That does look
Nice.
nice for sure.
Great comparison. Q&A.
Q&A.
Brand
Yeah.
story.
Brand
This is
story
a
looks
little
good
weird. It
too.
looks a little squished here.
That's true. Yeah. The benefits part. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go check out their store, you said?
You can check out their store too. Yeah. Let's do that.
Nice. Really calling it all out. And they're going
They got videos
live.
on there.
How many of you guys are going live, man?
Yeah.
That is crazy. And look at that backdrop too of like what they're doing. That is crazy. I mean, they're doing everything they can. So going
Yes.
live, putting on the main page, pushing their products, like they're doing so much here. It's awesome to see. No wonder
Looks
they're the
great.
fastest to hit 300 million from a new brand. Some nighttime drops too. Yeah,
More videos in there too. Yeah, nice.
yeah, that's pretty
I
cool.
like it.
Really big and bold. This is a fun brand. They do great photography on here. They push subscriptions as their next page. So subscribe. The Groons page, Groons Kids, new drops, immune bundles, and about you snacks. So a great product selection.
If I wanted to discuss with you as well, especially when we look at that type of brand, that type of product, they're huge. I mean, how much did they make?
Uh,
Weren't
what was
they
it?
billion
One
dollar?
point. Yeah, they just set off for $1 billion. That's crazy. 1.2 or something like that.
Yeah, that's insane. And so for me, if I'm like a brand and I want to sell my product, I mean, we're on a Slack space called Startup CPG, and I feel like we see a lot of brands that start up and try to get recognition and like all this stuff. And uh, for me, it just man, it seems like it's a lot of money. Um, you mentioned photography and how Groons does a really good job at that. You might not have
Yeah.
the funds for that right away. So it's like, what tools can you utilize now that make your listings look good and can actually compete in some of these spaces within Amazon? Like, what would you do? What would you tell a new brand in the Amazon space or anything like that?
Oh, boots on the ground for sure. If you're gonna be doing a lot of it yourself, I mean that's a big, not a problem, but it's a big factor in all of this. So you kind of want to validate and verify that this is your true, like you're working through your true north. And so,
Okay.
like you better be on Canva, you better be producing these images, conversion rate. You better make sure that you understand your audiences. So utilizing tools like Helium 10. But that's why like made ours is because instead of utilizing so many different tools, we're trying to pull them all together. so that you can implement it from advertising, from content creation, A plus content, hero images, copy, right? We're trying to allow it so that it's all communicating to each other. Because if you're using Canva and you're using, Google or Helium 10 and all of these other instances of content building, you basically need to bring it back through.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think what's really cool, even coming in newer into this marketing side of like Amazon or just e-commerce, I feel like how I um, was trying to learn the space is just, yeah, listen to podcasts, listen to, or just watch YouTube videos.
Right.
And the thing that I found out was like how important reviews were, and how people wouldn't even run ads if they didn't have more than 10 reviews, right? But I think what's pretty interesting is, I don't know, seeing a brand like Scarblast,
Right.
and like they have no reviews, and yet they just barely started on Amazon, and their ads is killing it.
I know.
It's crazy. And so when you mentioned like having a good, um, yeah, knowing your customer profile, I think
Yeah.
that's important to have.
Right. I mean, they do a good job. We've helped them with all of the research and studies that they produced. How do you find that ICP for Amazon versus Meta versus your website, right? And how do you balance that all out? Your customer is different on each platform. Sometimes they're the same, but
Yeah.
they're definitely different when they're on social media and they're looking at your brand. They're in a different state of mind versus when they're on your website versus when they're on Amazon, right? There's different funnels in that journey. And so we have to depict which one of that is. And I think we did a great job with Scarblast. It's a great product too, so it makes that
Yeah.
easier for us. Renowned reviews outside of Amazon. Now, the reason why they don't have any reviews on Amazon right now is because one, they just started, and two, we're not going to do Vine on something like this that requires education, time, right, and commitment to the product to see those results. It's not like an instant gratification type of product, like a pre-workout or even a gummy with taste, right?
Yes.
It takes time, and you have to be able to trust the process. So that's why we're not going to just send it out for reviews and like a
Yeah.
Vine to get them. So no, that's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I like their success story, and it's just, hey, a brand can learn from that and utilize that information.
Yeah.
I think I want to transition because in some of our other pods, we have called out another project that you have been working on, and I just want to touch on it briefly. And if you don't want to yet, that's totally fine.
No, that's good.
But I wanted to just say this, like, as um, an intro into it. I think in today's conversation, is one that like a lot of agencies, brand owners, and Amazon sellers need to hear. Because I mean, we're talking about something that most people might not get too excited about.
Yeah.
But before anyone clicks away, I think this is awesome. So stick with us. Um, it's not about reporting this episode. It's about decision making. And so, if you want to touch on like Anata Intelligence, why did you build Anata Intelligence?
Um, I built it for our clients, right? I built it for our own processes. If you know anything about how Anata is or how my brain works, basically it's very process oriented. So huge ClickUp fan, right? How do we make sure that every client can succeed? How could we put our best foot forward into that success, right? And why do we have the retention that we do with our clients? Because we do a lot of work. Now, just because we can do so much work and we're in every tool doesn't mean that we ourselves are optimized in efficiency. We have multiple tools. There's overlapping tools. Like the one thing that bugs me is I'm on Slack messaging people, I'm on ClickUp messaging people, I'm emailing, I'm texting them. There's a lot of inefficiencies there. And so just from that perspective, all the way from strategy to operations to just like the cost of doing business, we want to be the most efficient possible. So why am I paying for Helium 10 software, Jungle Scout software, reporting software, advertising system software, right? Brands should not have to do that. there should be a tool that helps them report, helps them educate themselves, helps each one of their team members do those things. In this new age, we have to be able to do that. I don't know one software that can do all of these things that's available for everybody, right? And that's what I struggle with the most is it's a pay to play world out there already, and it shouldn't be, right? Brands need to focus on what they're really good at. It's creating amazing products and bringing them to the market for their customer base. And we have to be able to support them doing those things across all of these tools. So we made Anata Intelligence to cover reporting, cover advertising, cover your review intake. It's to make sure that your copy is up to date across all of your listings, and your images are being A/B tested. That you can track all of these changes, right, through impact analyses. We wanted to make sure that you have this amazing tool. And then also, it's not just Amazon, because Amazon's turning into such an omni-channel tool that you're able to implement Facebook ads, Google ads, Meta ads, and Meta's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, right? TikTok creator connections. I want to make sure that all of these different aspects, that these levers move the needle for your brand as a whole, right? So it's not just Amazon, it's D2C, it's Amazon, it's getting your product into retail, it's really pushing your growth overall. And so there's a lot of passion behind this particular project, and a lot of time and commitment and years of understanding the operations around everything to build this, right? And so that's why we started building Anata Intelligence, and where we see it going is going to be massive.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I was just about to say the same thing. Like with you being in the game for a very long time, I think you've been able to see, what platforms are just missing. Like what key components of these platforms are missing. And now that you've been able to do it, put all these things together, it just seems like for a lot of companies, agencies, they've seen the same thing, and you have some of the biggest companies also cre- creating
Creating
these
it.
platforms like right after you. So it's
I
just
know.
uh, what does it how does that make you feel? It's like
Well,
pretty crazy.
it's cool that, I mean, yeah, how are we going to compete with this as an Anata? Anata is not a big company, guys. Anata's super small, startup, lazy, bootstrapped to the gills, right? And so it's cool to see us being able to compete with these companies. We were at a sales meeting, and it was us, Anata, versus the number one, Amazon company out there. You guys know who they are. And then, like, right after that, a week later, Blank Intelligence appears. It's like, dang, it's becoming, everything is becoming linear, and everybody needs to
Yeah.
understand that software isn't dead. It's the most it's ever lived, but it's more equal than ever now, because we can compete, and we can do that. And so those who understand AI and understand software and understand those relationships, it's going to be amazing. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm super excited. It makes me feel super, super excited that, like,
Yeah.
the level playing field. And I take a look at what we created with Nada Intelligence, thinking I'm a nobody. Imagine the somebody's out there, but I can
Yeah.
still go and do these things, right? I mean, look what you created with tape, and that's another episode, but it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I show that off to anybody and everybody I can, and be like,
Yeah.
that's a F1 sponsored product that we don't have to utilize, right?
Yes.
And we don't have to utilize anymore because it doesn't matter. So what's going to happen to those
Right.
organizations is what my
Yeah.
question is. What is the future? Like, it could go any
Mm.
direction now. So it's exciting.
True. True. Well, okay. I think this episode might be over time, but just one last thing, and I think it's we touched on this a little bit, but switching perspectives to like brands and why this is not just an agency thing, and brands should really care about this. From your perspective, how would you to any of the brands that are watching this? How would you answer that question? Like,
Trying
why
new
should a
things.
CEO or founder actually pay attention to reporting?
Oh, I mean, reporting is massive now. It's what they're utilizing for reporting. Make sure that that's not taking too much time, that you have it systemized, that you have your reports there. And Auto Intelligence has, what is it, 50 something reports available ready to go, ready to get shared, from executive reports to operational reports to third party, like, shareable reports, because those are all the reports that we know that we have to prepare and send for the particular audience that it's there for, and we need to be able to have them on hand ready to go, right? It's hard to
Okay.
appeal to everybody, but it's so important. So, like, understanding
Perfect.
numbers for sure, especially to our audience that is so into the weeds of manufacturing product and designing product. It's got to be it.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, one last thing. Without giving away the secret sauce, what makes Anata Intelligence different than any other software reporting platform, and why
There's
should?
one.
Okay, let's hear
No,
it.
there's one. That's it. There's just one platform, and I can't, and
Okay.
I'm not able to find another way to, like, even try and use another platform, because this one platform communicates to my advertising engine what the reviews are, what's working on Google Ads, right? What are those keywords? Are we testing those keywords from Google Ads on Amazon, right? I'm able to communicate all of this knowledge now into a singular platform to help growth, to understand growth, and vice versa. How many of you guys are actually sharing your keywords between Google search and Amazon, right? Like, the number 1 and 2 search consoles, are you sharing keywords? Are you trying to A/B test between the two? Do you have campaigns built out of successful keywords on Amazon and Google and vice versa? Do you know the results of those? That's what I mean. Like, we're that used to be a barrier, another thing to do, that now is just like, hey, do you want to start a campaign based on winning keywords on Amazon based on this particular product ASIN? Great, let's start it. Like, it's right then and there. And so, you got to make sure you still watch your budgets, watch your everything, make sure that you set those goals. Most of the time in the platform is now setting targets, measuring against those targets, versus like trying to understand and build reports and doing all those things. We're actually becoming the conductors, each one of us, then actually in the weeds doing the work. And that's the most important part.
Cool. Now, to anybody listening, David, where can they come talk to you about this? Where can they come find this platform and use it?
Yeah, we're taking calls all day, every day right now. So schedule a time at anatainc.com with myself, Gabe, Spencer, somebody here over at Anata, and let's chat through it. How can this software make your brand better?
Great. That's perfect. Awesome. We can end the episode there if that's okay.
Sounds good. All right. See
Okay.
you guys on the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for listening.